Well, Trenton, I guess without any further ado, we should go into our news of the week. It is, as always, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. Holly Schneiderwind and her team at Eagle Mortgage do a very good job of listening to their customers, figuring out what they really need, working very hard to match them up with the right loan. That's the nice thing about using a mortgage broker like Eagle Mortgage. They can shop a lot of banks instead of being tied to just one. That allows them, as I said a minute ago, just to get you the best solution. And I don't care whether you're looking for the conventional, the FHA, the VA loan, whatever. They'll help you with all of those, get you that pre-approval letter. The housing market is still very interesting, shall we say. There's still not enough houses out there. So while not quite as crazy as it was a couple years ago, it's still kind of crazy. And so you want that Eagle Mortgage security and feelings of safety behind you as you go into the house hunting rat race.
It takes a good couple years to take a farm and turn it into a single family development. And that's assuming that you have utilities to the development. Then you've got the infrastructure, and you got the financing, you got the grading.
And it's taking even longer these days with
all the planning. Yeah,
there's just no one to build these subdivisions and these houses. The labor shortage in construction is terrible. Well, let's get into this news, Trenton. Beginning April 24th, Farnham Street from 48th to Saddle Creek Road will close till traffic until late November. And this is all for a very good and exciting reason. It is to make accommodations for the future University of Nebraska Medical Center Saddle Creek campus, which is going to be a massive shot in the arm to Omaha and the state of Nebraska.
I see how you did that.
But and that was completely accidental, no pun intended. And also in preparation for UNMC's expansion, City of Omaha plans to negotiate with business owners near Saddle Creek Road and Leavenworth Street to acquire property necessary for road and sidewalk improvements. They're not ruling out the use of eminent domain. But basically, this Farnham Street closure, the work at Saddle Creek and Leavenworth, this is all necessary because the new Saddle Creek campus, eventually Project Next, and the UNMC administration tower, which will break ground here pretty soon, probably going to create a hell of a lot of traffic. And so we have to make sure that things move through there and are safe for pedestrians and all that sort of thing. So there's going to be a lot of changes.
I guess they're also looking to make sure it doesn't flood.
Well, and that is an ongoing problem on that Saddle Creek corridor. I mean, after all, there's a reason why the road is called Saddle Creek. The creek is in a box culvert underneath the surface of the road. And then also very related to all of that, the World Herald about a week ago had a real nice article about Project Next. That's the multi-billion-dollar project on a 7.5-acre site on the southeast corner of Saddle Creek and Farnham. They've been grading it. They removed the Monroe Meyer Institute and the old J.P. Lord School. They're still doing a bunch of foundational work. At any rate, the article said that things are going well there. We're still waiting on a bunch of Washington, D.C. bureaucratic garbage before we can actually start. Yeah. Well, there's
funding, I guess.
Yeah, Department of Defense, Health and Human Services, and Veterans Administration are all in it, and they all have some decisions still to make. It looks really good. Omaha's almost certainly going to be the very first location for these 5 disaster preparedness hospitals around the country. So it's all looking good. In fact, the article had a quote, "Demolition and site preparation funded by philanthropists were completed for significantly less than anticipated, allowing contractors to do more to create a structural base than expected." So slow. A lot of this is federal government dependent. It's going to happen from what the experts are saying, but we have to be patient.
Given a lot of the things that the United States government funds, I think that this one is important.
I would argue it's more important than a lot of them. So the former Nobby's store in Bel Air Plaza, 120th and West Center Road, will be converted into an indoor entertainment center with a full restaurant and bar. Worley Enterprises, which has prehistoric putt, medieval putt, developing Fat Putter downtown at 10th and Capitol. Well, anyway, that company bought the 32,000 square foot building, Todd Schneiderwin and Brian Hartman from our office at NAINP Dodge represented the buyer, Worley Enterprises, by the way. Fat Putter, their new project at 10th and Capitol, is supposed to open around May, I believe. And then once that business opens, they can start working on Nobby's, and they're thinking probably a 2024 opening in which Nobby's becomes an indoor entertainment center.
Well, for Michael Worley, it seems like he's got a good thing going with about 5 of these indoor putting places that cater to families, and the newer ones are going to have bars and restaurants and things like that. So he's really entering a whole new era in his business, because it's one thing when you have 1 or 2 employees there with indoor golf and that kind of stuff and snacks. It's another thing when you have a full staff and you have a bar and restaurant.
Full bar and restaurant, yeah.
But it's exciting. Good for him. You know, that Nobby's building is like 30,000 feet or so, and there's a lot he can do in there.
Well, yeah, it's really cool when you think about the explosion of indoor entertainment, because just last week on the show, we talked about Spare Time Omaha, which is going into the 50,000 square foot former Gordman store, bowling lanes and all this sort of thing. And then also there's another business called Fowling Warehouse. Fowling, Fowling, Fowling Warehouse. It's a mashup.
Bowling with an F.
Yeah, it's a mashup of football and bowling. And they plan to open a location in an existing building at 5585 North 90th. That's basically the 90th and Fort area. But essentially, instead of rolling a bowling ball down the lane, you chuck a football at the bowling pins and knock them over with a football.
This is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen.
This location will have 30 Fowling lanes, and existing locations of Fowling Warehouse are in Michigan, Ohio, Georgia, Indiana, and Texas.
So this is a franchise, and kudos to our friend Dan Fishburne, who's a commercial real estate agent. We usually don't tout our friendly competitors, but we have a lot of friendly competitors. And he's been working on this for a couple of years. His client, Mark, stuck with him, and I showed him some spaces, and I never thought I'd see it happen, but it is going to happen. I know some of these have bands, and they have a bar, and we'll have live music. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, so those are 3. And then we've also talked about in the past about Smash Park, pickleball-based entertainment facility.
Smash Park has broken ground.
Out of Des Moines.
Yeah, and I think I sent you some pictures. They're grading out at Southport West, and that's right as you go into Cabela's to your left. But they're going whole hog on the 4-acre site, 25,000 square foot. And then next will be a Home 2 Suites next door to that. But there's still a lot of land out there. And then also, if you're driving in, instead of taking right when you're about to take a right, instead of going to Cabela's, that will be a Panda Express.
And then another indoor entertainment center, indoor-outdoor, that's planned for the area, Chicken and Pickle, out of Kansas City with multiple locations nationwide, plans on coming to Omaha as well. So we're going to have a lot of these big blockbuster entertainment centers. Very fun, very cool, very exciting.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.